Hello and welcome to the Crab Jail. I'm Thea and today I'm going to be doing a deep dive for the Gather Tribal Quest for Endwalker, the last Dregs, or Omicrons. Well, more so for the factions we didn't really learn about through the MSQ so far. This would feature heavy spoilers for Endwalker, so if you haven't finished it, please click away. To unlock the last Dregs questline, you need to complete the MSQ for Endwalker, then complete the quest where no Lopere has gone before. Many of us have already done this quest because it is the same one that unlocks the dungeon, the Sigma Dreamscape, one of the 2 additional level 90 dungeons at Endwalker's release. In this quest, you meet 2 of the biggest players for the last Dregs questline, Jammingway and N7000. By completing the dungeon, you convince Sigma 4 to cease its plan to invade our star, and it wants to focus on more diplomatic things. So Jammingway suggests opening a cafe, and this sets up the story for Last Dregs. To actually unlock the tribe quest, you need to complete the quest, The Cafe at the End of the Universe, as a level 80 gatherer. The quest starts with Jammingway telling you that Sigma 4 had successfully recreated Karellians as patrons for the cafe. However, they kinda want to kill each other. But before we can handle that, N7000 shows us a newborn star that formed within Ultima Thule. And this is where the deep dive begins. To understand who the Karellians are, as well as 2 other factions we meet later, we actually have to look at the final dungeon of Endwalker's release, the Dead Ends. The Karellians are the inhabitants of the 2nd star that Median shows us. This world had cured diseases, but was now under strict control of the global community. A resistance force arose to fight for the freedoms, and this led to a civil war between the 2 factions. Information about the 3 stars that we get a glimpse of can be found in the interactable objects throughout the dungeon. If you're running with a party of other players, they can be hard to look at since most of the time we just kind of rush through it. So if you want to read them for yourself, I suggest using the Explorer mode or by going in with the Trust system. I will also have them on the screen, so if you don't want to read them at all, that's fine too, I guess. So the first item, or long forgotten correspondence, in the Karellian section of the dungeon reads, that otherworldly beings should first grace us with their presence is a sign. Indeed, they understand that we, the global community, are possessed of the wisdom and compassion needed to guide the star back into the path of righteousness. Yet the freedom fighters dare to undermine us, inviting chaos to disrupt the order we labored so hard to build. They have forgotten the history of the star and its once myriad nations, the wars waged, the countless lives lost. They must be brought to heel, the world united under a single standard, no matter the cost. From this correspondence, we can see that the global community was the first people that Median encountered on the star. There really isn't too much information in this, other than the fact that this star used to have multiple nations, and when they eradicated disease, then they became the global community. And that's pretty much it for this one. The second correspondence is where the important information is, because it explains where the boss of this section comes from. So let me get right into that. We constructed the Peacekeeper, the pinnacle of engineering and technology. This mighty war machine was designed to rid us of the freedom fighters, as well as any other potential threat to peace we have so long pined for. Its artificial intelligence ensures that its singular function is carried out with cold and calculating precision. Indeed, the 10,000 Peacekeeper units we created have now routed every threat to peace, including us. All that remains is to stand and fight. So yeah, the boss we fight, they made 10,000 of those. 10,000! And every single one of them is equipped with an AI with a single directive. And that directive is to kill anything it perceives as a threat to peace. And you know how AIs go, it decided that all living beings were a threat to peace, so it started killing everything indiscriminately. So yeah, it was literally just killing people on both sides. Through this section of the dungeon, you follow a global citizen as they make their way through a battlefield. They are on a task to end the bloodshed. Before you enter the portal, they reach a control panel, which fires a multitude of missiles. This does indeed end the bloodshed, but the cost is the death of everyone else. And if anyone managed to survive the missiles, they'll eventually succumb to one of the many peacekeepers that are wandering the world. The two soldiers, who were created by Sigma 4, were created with the memories of those who I believe died from those missiles, so they still believe they're at war with each other. You're tasked to find ingredients to make a salad to help them. And with the help of the salad, yeah, I know, it's very silly. With the help of the salad, the two decide that it was best to come to a compromise and to take up farming in order to create a better future. This creates a reaction with the dynamis, which in turn creates a farmland with Karellian technology, and more Karellians on the new star that N7000 shows you. This star is dubbed Elysian, and N7000 decides it would be best to continue these simulations in order to monitor the development of Elysian. And with that, the first part of the last Dregs questline comes to a close. However, it is merely the beginning, and there is much more to go over. So for part 2, we'll start with my favorite soupy boys, aka the Grebuloffs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Crab Jail.